itself is a product of brings science into so this is the second one, but I wanted to first look at Driesch, another notable biologist, is a kind of unity. It's a kind of unity. Life is a kind of unity which, look from another, is also a plurality. So that can mean. So what he can be meaning is when you look at life from mechanistic perspective, it looks a plurality. So you have all plant, for example. It is a combination of physical and chemical parts and processes, etc. Okay, so that's one. And on the other hand, if you look at life from the perspective of factual wholeness, then life what was the word we use? Life is a unity. You can't understand it as a plurality. So, for example, you can't understand why a leaf of a plant has a different relationship, qualitatively different relationship, a leaf with the plant, as compared to, for example, a bolt has with a car, for example. So even though a car is a unity as well, and plurality, and the plant is a unity as well as plurality, there are different types of unity and plurality. So that's the makes sense here, if that's what he meant. So in this context, Allama Iqbal is making his larger point that life cannot be explained fully. That's important. So he's not saying that you can use mechanistic and chemical explanation for understanding plant, for example. A lot of processes in plant you can't understand without those. But that's is a sort of abstraction which we do in order to understand them. But full understanding of plant, you have to understand life as a factual whole, and so it cannot be understood on the basis of mechanistic explanation, because you would be talking about life, which is a factual whole, which is anterior to its parts, and life as a unity, as one, comes before plurality. Okay, so let's read it again. So life is then a unique phenomenon, and the concept of mechanism is inadequate for its analysis. Its factual wholeness, so that's sort of explanation of the first sentence. To use an expression of Driesch, another notable biologist, is a kind of unity. So life's factual wholeness is a kind of unity, which, look from another point of view, that is mechanism, is also a plurality. In all the purposes, now he's trying to generalize that in all the purposive processes of growth and adaptation to its environment, whether this adaptation is secured by the formation of fresh or the modification of old, it possesses a career which is unthinkable in the case of machine. So a lot of things, and the possession of career means that it has a history, which car doesn't have in a way. A plant has a history which a car doesn't have in a way, even though obviously car has a history as well, but that's a different type of it, because history doesn't define in a way its essence. And the processes of a career mean a possession of a career means that the sources of its activity cannot be explained except in reference to remote past. Sources of its activity, for example, the growth of a plant, cannot be explained in remote past, the origin of which therefore must be sought in a spiritual. That is, spiritual just mean non-physical and non-mechanistic and holistic. So that is, spiritual doesn't have anything to do with what we mean by ruh, which is Amru Rabbi. So spiritual reality revealable in, but non-discoverable by an analysis of a special experience. So that is spiritual. That factual wholeness reveals itself in a special experience, but non-discoverable by special experience, because that's why he also is so much against reducing time to speciality, because time is something which is anterior, which defines spirituality in a way, in his sense. It was therefore seen that life is foundational. Therefore, from all the above, he is drawing sort of conclusion that life is foundational, anterior to the routine of physical and chemical processes which are related to special experiences, because life is a temporal activity which has its origins, and that whole journey sort of constituted as well. To routine of physical encryption, which must be regarded as a kind of fixed behavior, so during which a lot. Further, the application of the mechanistic concept to life, necessitating the view that the intelligence is in the conflict with this. Okay, now this also needs to be, because it's not clear if we can decide.